Club. Oh shit, are we starting already? Damn. Alright, so we are live. This is, well, you can call me Duke. And my wife told me about this today. And I just, I haven't live streamed in a long time. Because I've just been very busy with life. And, let me just do a quick audio check before we get too far into this. Let's see if we're live. Oh, cool. Yeah, we are live. Check the audio. Let's see if we're live. Oh, cool. Yeah, we are live. Check the audio. Alright, so audio is alright. You're going to have to forgive the noise in the background a little bit here. I actually have a mining rig going that I've been struggling to get stable. And I finally got it stable and I just haven't moved it. So you're just going to have to, I guess, bear it for a moment. But I wanted to go over this because this... I don't understand. Honestly, I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't understand what this man is thinking. Putting his entire company at risk with, like, the most ridiculous level of, what can I call this? Pandering. The most ridiculous level of pandering that I personally have ever seen. It's really quite incredible, actually, when you get down to it. So, as you can see here, with each order, he is offering 10 bumper stickers that glorify BLM with the communist raised fist. And, to call it a Republicans are racists weekend deal, it's really quite incredible. Republicans are racists weekend. Alright, let's just see if it's still up. It's possible that he's gotten enough backlash as a businessman that his management team was like, bro, come on now. You need to fucking take this shit down. Let's see if it's still up. Penzey Spices. I wonder if they took it down. Spices. Where is that? Oh. So in an email blast. Wow. So in the email, CEO Bill Penzey addresses Republicans. If you are a Republican voter, you are now cheesed off. You were promised that there would never be any accountability for your support of the party of open textbook racism. Sorry for the betterment of all Americans you included. We decided to end that rule, and I really don't care what your race is or how many friends happen to be, whatever. None of that excuses you. Wow. So this guy Penzey is really stupid. Really stupid. Very stupid. In a 2014, Penzey wrote that residents of Waukesha County had fled west to escape diversity in Milwaukee. No! They escaped the hood! They escaped the hoodlums! They escaped being robbed at gunpoint. They escaped having their houses broken into. They escaped carjackings. They escaped crime. They left to get away from criminal activity. Especially if you're white, you're in grave danger in Milwaukee. 100%. Being a white person is one of the most dangerous things somebody can be in the city of Milwaukee. Hands down, no questions asked. And it has a lot to do with the media. There's no question about that. In 2016, he accused supporters of Donald Trump of committing racism by voting for Trump. No, what he should have been saying is that you're voting for the establishment, which would have been a part of the dichotomy in the political arena, which is nothing but a show. Left, right, Republican, conservative, establishment, globalist versus the grassroots, populist. You are really a good bunch, but you just committed the biggest act of racism in American history since Wallace stood in the schoolhouse doorway 53 years ago. Make this right. Take ownership of what you have done and begin the pathway forward. This guy is really stupid. He's so stupid. Penzey's been grifting off terrible political takes and low name calling for a decade, so the reporters will give them free media. These lies are news, asked Senator Julian Bradley. It's just ridiculous, man. It's just ridiculous. So, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So yeah, there are no stores in Milwaukee's inner city because there's no money in the inner city. That's why there are no stores in the inner city. I really wish that they just would have come out and said in this article, yeah, probably the reason that he's not in the inner city is because he doesn't want to end up losing money. He doesn't want to be robbed. He doesn't want to have to waste time and energy on people who don't want to actually do, honest work. If you take a job and you feel like you're not getting paid enough, now is the time for you to walk off the job. Because there are plenty of other positions open that people have walked away from that are paying more than the one you're in now. And even in the city of Milwaukee, if these hoodlums are willing to actually do honest work, they're not going to have to rob and steal and destroy their own communities. They can actually go work in the western suburbs and bring back that money to their little enclave and support local businesses in their enclave. But they're not that smart, unfortunately. Many don't have fathers. Many have ill-equipped mothers, unfortunately, when it comes to the inner city. Yes, Penzey's anti-Republican deal is real. Here's the offer right off of Penzey Spice's website. Is this really still up? Oh, wow. You gotta have the original email, baby. Let's see. Okay, so this is the... Oh, this is right on... Wow! Alright, so this is what I really wanted to do with this little thing. I got Fanti saying vor.ong, whatever the... It's like a... Fuck. Anyways, so it says, remember when Black Lives... Okay, I'm actually going to read this here, so let me pull this down. And I'm going to narrate this. But I'm going to do it with video in the background. So let's go to It's, I think we're in vain. So, okay, so remember when Black Lives Matter started to have some success getting all of America to see how unfairly black Americans are treated in this country, and the importance of all of us saying Black Lives Matter until Black Lives Matter, until Black lives started to be treated as though they do matter. So, Black Lives Matter. So this is what we're talking about, right? But let's go to video, because we want to see people's actions. Actually, let's do this. This is BLM Kenosha.
Continues to burn. An Illinois teenager has now been arrested.
Okay, so you know this I'm not saying that this was labeled BLM, but this is a representation of what BLM leads to. Like this BLM stuff, this is what it leads to. The guy gets shot in the head. Yeah, so like we're being made really aware of how important, you know, Black Lives Matter really is.
Inside Spaces.
All right, Paula.
So there's Rittenhouse pointing the gun down, right? There's the dude with the skateboard, I think. Yeah, this is BLM, baby. BLM. They're really making us understand how important black lives are. Like, give me a fucking break. This is trash. This dude with the skateboard again. And it wasn't a protest. It was not a protest. It was rioting. And it's disgusting how politically correct all these people act. Call it what it is. It was rioting. So remember how Republicans, seeing the success of BLM was having in moving America towards greater equality for black people, in many ways the first real success since the time of Dr. King. Remember how the Republicans did all they could to derail its success by trying to drown out BLM's message with shouts of all lives matter and blue lives matter, and lying about the leaders of BLM being Marxists and communists? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Bruh, what? Do you not understand? BLM? Trained Marxist. So where does she say? She says it in an interview. BLM founder. Okay. Come on. Bruh, are you fucking kidding me? What's going on here? Here we go. Here we go.
The criticism is helpful. I also think that it might. I think of a lot of things. The first thing I think is that we actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists. We are super versed on sort of ideological theories.
Wow. Wow, check that shit out. How about them nuts? You like them nuts? Unreal, bro. Unreal. Remember after George Floyd's murder? Oh, you mean, okay, alright. Bruh. George Floyd? Floyd. Porn.
Oh man, what's up?
What's your name, bro?
Man, be Floyd. Floyd the landlord, man.
Floyd
That's
the
me, man.
landlord.
Right on, man.
What you
New video has surfaced showing George Floyd was actually an adult entertainer in the adult entertainment business. Floyd's death in Minneapolis a couple days ago at the hands of a Minneapolis police officer has caused wild speculation, and riots are now beginning in protest of his death. Through some research, I was able to dig up a video that seems to show George Floyd was an adult entertainer star in the adult entertainment business, and he went by the name Floyd the Landlord. In the video, you can see George Floyd greeted by a director in a hotel room with a female adult co-star. George Floyd introduces himself as Floyd the Landlord and says he reps Houston, Texas as his home city.
Sexy as a motherfucker. Oh shit, let's see who this is. Right on time, right on time. Right on time. Who is it? What's going on, bro? What's going on, man? What's up, what's up?
You go, baby.
You walking here like LeBron James.
Damn.
Oh man, what's up?
What's your name, bro?
Man, be Floyd. Floyd the landlord, man.
Floyd
That's
the
me, man.
landlord.
Right on, man.
What you repping? What city?
Man, Houston, Texas, man. Third Ward, the projects, man.
Third
See this
Ward.
thing right here, man.
Right.
Hey,
Right.
hey.
Out here, Houston.
This time, man, we in here, man. This is what we do, man. You feel me? You gotta get it right. You know what I'm
Right, all right.
Yeah.
What's this?
saying? With the lovely, super lovely.
What's your name, girl?
Kimberly Ranks.
Sexy, sexy. Look at her. For real.
Floyd then says he's
Bruh.
affiliated with a group called Young Risk Takers, or YRT.
What's up?
What's your
baby?
name, bro?
Man, be Floyd. Floyd the landlord, man.
Floyd
That's
the
me, man.
landlord.
Right on, man.
What you repping? What city?
Man, Houston, Texas, man. Third Ward, the projects, man.
Third
See this
Ward.
thing right here, man.
What's that?
Check me out, man.
Young
Bruh.
risk takers?
Young Risk
Are we serious? Whatever the fuck his name is, Jim Penzey or whatever the owner of Penzey Spices is a fucking idiot, and he deserves to lose his business. And I'm sorry for all the employees that have to deal with this numbnuts, but bruh, all it takes is you just have to do a little searching. George Floyd was a porn star. George, not even a porn star. He participated in in well, I mean, honestly, in defiling a woman's fucking value by participating in pornography. George Floyd was a drug addict. He had a heart attack because he was blown up on dope.
With some research, I was able to find this group on YouTube. They only have 37 subscribers, but they do have a lot of music videos. Here's an example of some of their videos.
Is you alright? Cause Jimmy TV, DOA won't need IV. Fuck if you ain't rhyme with me. Swear, it ain't no hide with me. Beat up your block like a 612 free little wood, that's RT. Free DJ, that's BB.
Floyd's death has caused riots.
And let's remember too. Let's keep in mind that gangs like this, like the police, like the state, and the state is a gang, okay? Where if you do what they would do, you would be called a criminal. So like, just like if you did what the gangs do that George Floyd was associated with, you'd be called a criminal. If you do what the state does to other people, other regular people on the street, you'd be called a criminal as well. So let's keep this in mind. George Floyd was a criminal. And all this anger and animosity and whatever is entirely misdirected, because most of these dark-skinned people and the white people that fuel the fire, like literally, like they're literally throwing themselves as a sacrifice into the fire of racism. That is man-made, of course. Like this whole schism between the races is entirely a construct of the media and the left-right political show.
To erupt across the United States, in cities such as Minneapolis, where the death occurred, but also Seattle, Bakersfield, San Francisco, Oakland, and so many more states that are now experiencing their own form of riots that have been going on for 2 days now.
Who is it?
It's not hard to find. And then you look, okay, George Floyd drops bag. Let's see if that pops up. Hello. About what? Nobody has anything about me, so just chill out. No. Yeah, I'm on camera, but nobody knows who I am. Okay. Fear rules the day, my friends. Fear rules the day. So, I have seen footage where it shows George Floyd literally dropping a bag of dope on the ground. Let me see if I can find it. Here, Floyd drops drugs. Drugs arrest. Come on, where is it? Where is it?
Video released yesterday showing the moment deadly.
The deadly moment.
Comes from a restaurant security camera and was originally obtained by the Washington Post. It shows what happened before an officer is shown in video holding Floyd to the ground with his knee on his neck. In this video, you see officers walking a handcuffed Floyd to a wall and sitting him down. Moments later, one of the officers began to walk Floyd.
They don't show it. Damn, bro. Wish I could find this video. Let's see if I can actually find it all. He drops it. Drops bag. There we go.
Yes, I believe Mr. Floyd was saying, I ain't do no drugs.
So it's a little different than what you were asked about when you only saw a portion of the video, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then to clarify what we did earlier, it would appear that I had inverted a couple of the
Bro. Here we go, here we go, here we go. See? Watch this. Oh shit. Oh man.
A heart attack because he was panicking. And I get it, being put in handcuffs or cops sitting on your head will do that. I'm not defending it. But this, again, we're learning the rest of the story. They waited a long time to release this camera footage. This is on CBS, ABC, all of it, but none of them are pointing out what's on the raw video. Wow. That he's pulled it out of his back pocket, boom, on the ground, and the cops don't even pick up on that. They take him over. He fights in the car. We've got footage of that. I guess we can play in a moment. Get that ready. Zach, what do you make of this?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, no matter what,
they're fighting getting him in right here.
Yeah, that's.
I
mean, he definitely did not want to be arrested for sure. Well, I think that's clear, and it's. I mean, this footage is. I don't really know if this changes any more of the narrative, just because of the fact that the cop obviously knew the guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you that too. I'm gonna show you that. Shit is fucking epic. All right, so we established that George Floyd participated in pornography. We established that he is in a gang, or was associated with a gang or gangs. We show you the video where he's dropping a bag of a white powdery substance, which looks very much like a bag of dope of some kind. What it is, I don't know. Okay? Now, oh my goodness, what was I going to show you? I was just like rattling off the list and I forgot what I was going to show you. Shit. Damn. I hate it when I forget.
Any more of the narrative, just because of the fact that, I mean,
pick up on that. They take him over. He fights in the car. We've got footage of that. I guess we can play in a moment. Get that ready. Zach, what do you make of this?
Yeah, I mean, no matter what,
they're fighting getting him in right here.
Yeah, that's.
Look at this little Asian police officer. That guy should not be a police officer. Because even if he wanted to stop one of his fellow police officers, he'd be like, bruh, you are too fucking short, bruh. You are too short. Get the fuck out of here. What is it? The Cyrillic and the, like, these trolling accounts, vor.ong, vum.ong, what the fuck? So dumb. Anyhow. This. That guy is so short, bro. Look at that. He's so short. Oh, you can even tell how short he is by his arms. His arms are just so goddamn short. Alright, anyways. God, what was I going to show? There was another aspect of George Floyd that I was going to expose.
Don't even pick up on that. They take him over. He fights in the car. We've got footage of that. I guess we can play in a moment. Get that.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So, here we go. George Floyd. Oh yeah. So, George Floyd and Derek Chauvin work security at the same club, apparently, right? But George Floyd Chauvin sex girlfriend. Alright, well, I don't think it's going to come out very easy. But the story, George Floyd, affair, yeah. Anyways, so they knew each other, and George Floyd, heart attack. So, I mean, that looks like he's foaming at the mouth and shit. Like, yeah, this guy did not like this guy. And so this was a bad situation altogether. But let's be real. Let's be real about George Floyd. Okay, let's be real about George Floyd. George Floyd was a gangster. George Floyd was a bad guy. And realistically, I'm pretty sure George Floyd's girlfriend had no problem recovering from his death. I'm almost 100% certain that she found another dude pretty fucking quick. That's just how it goes. So, remember how Black Lives Matter stepped in and redirected the anger into peaceful protests that millions of Americans from across all walks of life participated in, amassing 100 million human hours of peaceful protest? Now, what I'll say about this is, why are these people wearing masks? You know, you're outside. Like, why would they all be wearing masks like this? Could it be? Is it possible that people that align themselves with this ideology are easily led by the state? You know? Like, look at all these people. Now, some would argue, oh, I don't want anybody to, like, to be able to see my face. But no, this is at the height of the whole, you know, the cough infection that goes around mysteriously somehow. Like, look at all this. This is crazy. These people are signaling that they believe the official narrative. And so if they believe the official narrative, is it possible that Patrisse Cullors' Black Lives Matter are an extension of the state apparatus of a psychological operation? I mean, is it possible? I'm asking the question. And is it actually likely that this is the case? I mean, you heard Penzey Guilty say that they're trained Marxists. Well, where the fuck do you get training to be a Marxist? You gotta have money for training. So who has money? Could it be the rich white people that they claim to hate so much? These BLM protesters? Could it be that? I'm just saying. Could it be that? And although that seems to be a peaceful protest, it's only peaceful until it turns violent. Especially when your ideology says that there's no way to actually get through to the other side without violence. And that's what that ends up meaning. They end up using violence. And the reason it turns to violence and violating people's rights to their property and to their lives, right, their body autonomy. The reason that happens is because this ideology isn't based on anything concrete or substantial. It's based on taking from others to give to oneself. That's what it is. That's ultimately what this becomes. Alright, so remember how Republicans, going against a mountain of evidence to the contrary, once again lied and said BLM wasn't a peaceful movement, but inside terrorists inciting violence throughout the country then raced out to buy a crapload of guns because maybe they were finally going to get their chance to shoot a black person. What a bunch of racists. A crapload of guns because they were finally getting ready to get their chance to shoot a black person. I don't have to play a video for this. This is patently ridiculous. Racism is a construct of a divide and conquer psychological operation. And America has been under a psychological operation for a very long time. So many great things about our spices and seasonings. One of those great things is that pretty much every one of them, by virtue of where they're grown, who they are picked by, or by the cultures of the foods they ultimately go on to season, cheeses off racists. And where normally cheesing off racists is something we throw in for free with the purchase of any of our spices in honor of the life of Dr. King, this extended weekend we are throwing an extra cheesing off of an up to $12.95 value, half a cup jar free with any $10 purchase. Okay, so listen, the whole Dr. King thing is really played out at this point. I don't think any young person in this day and age, other than a radical Marxist or some kind of serious progressive liberal, is actually obsessed with anything that Dr. King has actually purportedly done. But I wanna play one video for you about Dr. King that I hope can shed some light on the reverence that people have for Dr. King and demonstrate for you that Dr. King was a puppet of the state. It's not really up for debate when you understand certain things. For example, if you understand that to be giving a lengthy speech in a Freemason temple requires that you be a Freemason. Okay? It requires that you are a Freemason. It requires that you are a high-degreed Freemason. Martin Luther King was a high-degreed Freemason, and he never publicly disclosed this. So let's go. Dr. King, final speech. Alright, I'm going to take a short break. I'll be back. I've already heard this.
Bet on. All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. And so just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
This is a CBS News special report.
Dan Rather reporting for CBS News from New York. The Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. was shot to death by an assassin late today as he stood on a balcony in Memphis, Tennessee. Dr. King had planned to lead another civil rights march in Memphis next Wednesday. We got the latest on the story now from what's from.
I am not a historian, but neither are you. So, how about we, the people, learn this stuff together? Welcome to US 101. And for today's episode, guys, we're going to be looking at one of the most famous and perhaps one of the greatest speeches ever made in American history. No, I'm not referring to the time that I addressed my third grade class as, "Hello, my name is Mr. Gigglepants." Why did I do that? How much do you really know about Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech? I mean, I think it's safe to say that most Americans can recite at least a little part of it, and usually when you recite it, you try to sound like him. When you said, "I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed." Everyone, you try to sound like him, it doesn't come off the same way. The "I Have a Dream" section of Martin Luther King's speech that he made in Washington, D.C. in 1963 is easily the most recognizable and probably the most memorable part of that speech. But you should know that that's not the first time he told people that he had a dream. Yeah, you won't hear about that in your classrooms, but it is true. But before we get to that bit of the story, why don't we just take a closer look at the speech itself and try to understand the reason why King presented it in the first place. Now, what you'll normally hear about Martin Luther King in your classrooms is that he was a civil rights leader, civil rights activist. He was also the head of the SCLC, or the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. He was a leader of the Montgomery, Alabama bus boycotts in the 1950s, and he famously penned a letter from inside a jail cell in 1963, which includes the now famous quote from Martin Luther King Jr., "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." And while King was slowly starting to make a name for himself by the 1950s and the 1960s, he still wasn't making these big grand speeches on the national stage like he would in Washington in 1963. At the time, on his come up, he was still making speeches and he was preaching to mostly African Americans inside of churches in the South. And let's also remember that the 1960s for the civil rights movement was a decade in which the movement would reach a peak, okay? I mean, and it started way before the 1960s, but it was starting to gain a lot of notoriety and a lot of ground in the nation at this time. It's during this era, guys, you've got things like Brown v. Board of Education, you've got the Little Rock Nine, you've got Rosa Parks, you've got sit-ins at diners and at lunch counters, all contributing to a paradigm shift in post-World War II America. African Americans are continually making their voices heard through demonstrations and through leaders like Martin Luther King Jr.
Martin Luther King Jr. is dead, my man. What the heck? Alright, let's go on a little bit longer than I planned to. So, anyways, let's play this again. I want to watch this. It's been a while since I've seen this, but this guy is a Freemason through and through.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper.
Oh, you mean the Freemasons that signed that motherfucker?
If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. And so just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
You know, it was all set up by the CIA. 100%. 100%.
This is a CBS News special report.
Dan Rather reporting for CBS News from New York. The Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. was shot to death by an assassin late today as he stood on a balcony in Memphis, Tennessee. Dr. King had planned to lead another civil rights march in Memphis next Monday. We got the latest on the story from Marcia Collins.
I am not a historian, but neither are you. So, how about we, the people, learn this stuff together? Welcome to US 101. And for today's episode, guys, we're going to be looking at one of the most famous and perhaps one of the greatest speeches ever made in American history. No, I'm not referring to the time that I addressed my third grade class as, "Hello, my name is Mr. Gigglepants." Why did I do that? How much do you really know about Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech? I mean, I think it's safe to say that most Americans can recite at least a little part of it. And usually when you recite it, you try to sound like him. When you said, "I have a dream,"
and the fact that it was Freemasons that created this country to create the new man. All right, so let me see if I can find one more video. I don't want you to just think that it's just my idea. Martin Luther King, Freemason.
Yo, what's up there, you guys? Your man Joe came around just to find that you need to know. So I know it's like midnight right now, so I'm gonna say yesterday, during Dr. Martin Luther King Day, everybody was celebrating on that day. Because I was heading to work to do a couple of things. Then I was looking at the TV and I saw a picture, an image of Martin Luther King, or MLK. I saw a picture of it. When I saw the image and I looked at him, this something was saying to my spirit like Freemason. Freemason. So I was like, Freemason. And I looked up some stuff on Martin Luther King to see if there's any images of him doing Freemasonry. Freemasonry? Yeah. So
I love that it's a black guy making this video, by the way.
The trumpet is blowing for the train. Yeah, I think I seen like a couple of pictures of him. But at this point, so I guess today everybody was celebrating Satan, I guess. Ain't that Freemasonry? Don't they associate with the devil or the devil's kingdom?
My brother, you are on fire.
So yeah, as far as I know,
absolutely Freemasonry.
The question
is
of
Satanism.
today is: was Martin Luther King Jr. was a Freemason? Please leave a comment down below. So repent for the day of the Lord.
Want to know the best?
Yeah. Let me just. Absolutely. I'm going to comment him. Yep. Because Dr. Martin Luther King is for sure a Freemason. Yeah, I just think that already. Alright. Yeah, I appreciate that this black man was able to commune with the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit said, Freemason, Freemason, Freemason. Let's look at this one real quick.
MLK is a Freemason on site. I will bet my entire flesh on it, but let's not go to betting.
This is another black guy.
Let's deal with facts and not opinions.
Yep. It's another black guy narrating this. I can tell you.
You are who you surround yourself with. Martin Luther King Jr., Michael King Jr., whose name was changed to Martin because his father was inspired by Martin Luther. Is a Freemason on site. Have you ever heard of that? Freemason on site? Well, 10 things you may not know. This is given to the world by the History Channel. Find these things out. It's just a Google search away. Use your smartphone for smart things.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a Baptist minister.
Thank you, brother.
So he went off in a denomination instead of staying single-minded, one spirit.
Yeah.
One truth.
Yep, one truth.
One mind. He went off into a denomination to.
You understand that denomination is nothing more than meaning label, or quantified. And so when you say that you're in a denomination of Christianity, you're saying that Christianity has been split up, and that you are numbered or what do they call it? Denomination. You're denominated. Okay, let's look up what denomination means. So okay, all right. Listen. Denomination, right? Right down here, number 2. The face value of a banknote, coin, or postage stamp. And all they did was they took this idea, this concept, right, of breaking up the value of money, and they applied it. And this is the money changers, because the money changers existed before Christ, okay? And they applied it to the Christian church, breaking it up into 1s and 5s and 10s and 20s and 100s and 50s and 5. You understand the point? It's a denomination. It's a value given to you. A name or designation, especially one serving to classify a set of things. So, you're a group of people that believe this, you're a group of people that believe this, you're a group of people that believe this, and we're doing that because altogether you'd be an unstoppable force for good, but when we split you up into all these different splinter groups and allow you to believe whatever the fuck it is you want to believe, because we've polluted the bride of Christ, right? We have made her a feminist. We have made her strong and independent of Christ. Okay? We have denominated you. We have broken you up. We have divided you. So you can have denominations that say are okay with homosexuality. You have denominations that are okay with, said sin. And the denominations of the Christian church or the Bride of Christ are no better, in my view, than, say, for example, the what people use the cults, the various cults that have a leader who is a Christ-like figure, essentially. And you have things like the Christian Scientists. They literally have Mary Eddy Baker is like their Christ-like figure, and they worship Mary Eddy Baker. The Mormons. You have the Mormons and Joseph Smith worshiping Joseph Smith as a Christ-like figure. If you are of the Bride of Christ, you are worshiping, right? You are worshiping the one that made everything. And you communicate with the one that made everything through the only begotten Son, which you are married to, being the bride of Christ. And if you are a bride of something, let's look up bride. What does bride mean? Right? What do these words mean, bride? A woman on her wedding day or just before and after the event. The bride and groom. Right? Newlywed, honeymooner. Let's go ahead and look at this here. That's kind of really simplistic, I agree. Bride, how about etymology? Let's look up this. Often etymology gives you a better understanding of the power and the spell casting of a word. Alright, so okay, so check this out. This is, reading is something that I think any person who's going to go into a contract should be required to do by the law, or at least sit through a class breaking down what the contract is, or requiring you to pay an attorney to explain to you the terms of a contract. There are some things that should be required in order for you to say that you agree, in my view, based on how people are today. But let's read this. Marriage is one of the most loved moments of one's life, unless you repent it later. But yeah. Lately, Facebook has been full of these wedding pictures, blah, 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 blah. There are various theories about the origin of the term groom. It is the same root as the verb groom. Groom means to take care of or to train something to be better. Now, I know that there will be many people who will disagree with me on this, but if the purpose of a groom is to make better, then doesn't that require whatever the man is grooming to actually take constructive information and implement it? Right? I mean, these words have meaning. And if you're going to take care of something, usually it means that you are not just maintaining it, but you are actually trying to improve it. Hence, or to train something to be better. So it could be a dog. You could be grooming a dog, right? Grooming a dog to be a better companion. So these words have a purpose and they have a meaning. The two words that come from an Old English word called guma, which refers to a young servant boy who takes care of horses. So it basically means that grooms are male servants who are meant to take care of their wives. This sounds sexist, right? Do they mean that every man becomes their wife's servant after marriage? Strangely enough, there are some particularly weird theories about the origin of the word bride as well. The word bride is said to have been originated from the Old English word brew, which means to cook. I wonder why that the historical reference to wives who were once brides for a day, or two, or three, depending upon how you view it, are expected to cook good meals for the family. I wonder why. So, side note, if a woman decides that she does not want to be a good cook and provide sustenance for the family in the way that she is capable of providing it, which is much easier than going and doing hard labor away from the house. It's certainly less, for a man, doing hard labor outside of the house is not rewarding. It's not rewarding in the slightest. Most men don't want to do hard labor, but we do it and we embrace it because we have to. Because we know that there will be nobody else to do this hard labor to provide for us. So we have to do it. Regardless if there's a bride to cook in the home, a man's role in the society still is to do the hard labor. So, my point is that to be a bride and to have the honor and the duty to cook a meal for the family should be something that should be embraced. Otherwise, you are not a bride, according to what the word actually means. And the historical context of a word is very important, because we know that politicians are liars. We know that corporations manipulate us to try and profit from our human energy, like the Matrix movies, because they are not living entities. They are undead entities. They are essentially inanimate objects that only exist on paper and are given life by the servants to the corporation. So in what may be one of the most sexist origin stories of all time, bride manages to overshadow the latent sexism in the origin of groom. Doesn't mean that a bride is someone who is only meant for cooking. If there are two opposite kinds of sexism at work here, does that cancel it out and mean that there is no sexism at all? Or does it make it more sexist? We'll never know. Actually, no, it's complementary. It's very complementary. It's very complementary. To be focused on maintaining the household and ensuring that young children are being raised with the most amount of love and emotional support and development possible, there is no one better suited for that, usually, than a woman. Okay? And don't forget that you need to have somebody there to be a unmovable rock in the house, because with emotion things can move very quickly and things can shift and things can go up and down very quickly. But without the stability of the man in the situation, we don't have balance. We simply don't. We simply don't. I know that's kind of a tangent. We're not talking about George Floyd and Penzey Spices and the owner being a dumbass and a racist, but We'll get there. So the doctor, I mean, and this is not, he's just grifting. This motherfucker is just grifting on the perceivably oppressed dark-skinned people in America, and specifically in Milwaukee. And he's not even grifting them. He's grifting all the stupid white people that actually buy into all this nonsense and are gonna feel motivated to buy his products. And hey, I've only acquired Penzey spices either because they were cheap, or I got them for free, or I got them, you know, like, I never paid really for Penzey spices, except for I think one time. And I'll never buy them again. Yeah, they are a local business, but I mean, after this, there ain't no redemption for this guy. He needs to just sell Penzey spices. This is what Penzey spices needs to do. Penzey spices needs to be sold to an investment group. And this motherfucker needs to just ride off into the sunset with his own self-hating fucking attitude about white people, and just go live your life and then die, because you're not even pandering to the actual customer base of your product, which is what I don't understand. Because he doesn't sell, Penzey Spices is not sold to melanin colored skin people. Okay? It's not. It's sold to mostly white people. Which is and white people that the majority would have a more conservative bent when it comes to politics. But then, like, you're throwing in this huge monkey wrench of basically, like, I'm white, you're white, you know, you're racist. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm not going to buy from you anymore. And that's literally what's going to happen here. My prediction is that after this weekend, Penzey's business is going to decline. And it might even die. Honestly, it might even die. It might. I'm not saying it will. Because I know white people in general, they're not really resolved to do the right thing or to hold the line. They're just not. I don't know why. Could be the social engineering, I don't know. But they're just not capable, it seems, of holding the line on anything moral. I mean, if you think about it, the majority of the country was white when abortion was passed. You know, when women were just allowed wholesale to just go in and get their babies taken out of them. I'm just saying. Like, white people are not capable of holding the line. They're just not. They're just not. The Dr. King Memorial Weekend, we are giving away, this Dr. King Memorial, 10 little powerful BLM stickers within purchase, and 2 of our very best blends are regularly $3.95. Galena Street. Galena Street and Mural of Flavor are only $2 each, with the entirety of those $2 being split between the National Black Lives Matter organization, which is run by trained Marxists, and Milwaukee's own Block, that's doing an outstanding job of pushing back against the decades of racism this community has faced. Thanks for helping support good people. Alright, why don't we just, I know this is like really, this live stream is really just dragging on, because I have a lot to say. Milwaukee. Milwaukee, a nickname for the Midwest city of Milwaukee. Milwaukee has a very height crime rate. That's why we call it Milwaukee. I'm from that good Milwaukee. We slay niggas here. This niggas there. Oh my gosh. Alright, alright. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow.
Solo in this bitch. It's Mickey punch me in. I'ma call the gang, tell them I got the Glocks in. 12 get behind me. I ain't stopping. I can pick your bitch up and I can take her shopping. I can get a Gucci Louis, maybe buy a Robbins. I'm a young nigga turned up, I stay solid. Bitch, I'm from the beat where it be hella fucking violence. If they ever lock me in that room, I'ma stay silent. I told Lucas hit it right because I just seen the sirens. I told bro to hit the highway but be smooth, it's hella patrol. Even in the summer of June, my neck still be froze. I can never wipe these bitches, just fuck these hoes. Niggas keep on hitting my line, I ain't selling no pose. I remember back then I was trapping out the back end. Mama said you give the son while you steady trapping. I went my own ways, I get myself paid. Shorty said she wanna fucking got a friend, so it's uno, dos, tres. On the interstate, said you need to put an order in, I need time and date. Niggas really want some smoke, I ain't ducking no highness. Got a Glock with a 30, but my bitch is the finest. Glock 26 automatic, call it baby switch. Shorty wanna ride on a dick, told her take a trip. Hit the dog once, hit it twice, knock the hedges off. Serve it to the block, don't be hot, it got fitting off. Shorty want a dub, don't got money, told her top me off. I only drink Remy with the Henny, fucking smearing off. I be dumping peas in the morning at the crack of dawn. This is not a game, if I kill you would not respond. I'ma let you try the drugs out, I need your best response. Hey, hey. And I'ma let you try the drugs out, I need your best response.
Culture. Showing
I
his
got
asshole.
the dog and fiends, come and get you some. If you want the dark black, I can get it done. Boy, I'm in the stoop, going cool game, face an ace. Put the 1 gram blunts out, boy, that ain't the wave. Let me teach you how to walk up in this bitch with these 30 drums. New bitch sweet like a honey bun. Glock 17 with 100 drums. This ain't playground, but we can have some fun. Only 18, but I touch a dub. I was 17, partying in the club. Turned 16 when they got a gun. Let off hella shots, I bet you niggas run. Blood type results came back showing up.
Alright, let's take a look at
So
this.
I've got my essay written, and I've been working on it for about a week. So now I'm going to show you how I use Grammarly to edit. Okay, so here's my essay, and I'm going to click through Grammarly's suggestion.
Okay.
I'm a real nigga. How you score a touchdown? You ain't even in that field, nigga. These bitches wanna fuck knock my Lou bills turn to bills bigger. Ballin' like I'm Curry, but my plug myself. Fell in love with me, time I can't love no more. Devil on the left side trying to take control of me. And God is on the right side trying to keep me out the streets. But mama found the high lows and asked about the heat.
Bro, so cold. They ain't ready for this other stuff he got. Stay tuned. We about to drop some fire. I know I've been going through all T's videos and 9 out of 10 slap. This shit fire. Man, y'all better keep it real with this goofy. Don't be telling him his shite fire when y'all know this shite trash. Come on now, y'all keep it trill with homeboy. Oh my gosh. Dog going crazy on this B. This nigga need to keep going in STG. Do that shit, my nigga. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Alright. Alright. Let me see if my guy is up. Bro, why don't I hear nothing, man? This is... I can't see anything. This stuff doesn't work right. Discord.
Hello. 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 Where? Where? Hello. Hello.
I guess it's not available. Anyways, alright. Alright, so doggone crazy this B. 100, fire, fire, fire. This nigga need to keep going. Okay, I already heard that. Lil bro, that's crazy flow. Fire, fire, 100, strong. We got a link. Fire, fire. MKE, Mark. Fire, 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 fire. Yeah, fire, my boy. Like that fast show. Damn, I see you. Oh God, this is hot. Laugh my ass. Oh my goodness. Milwaukee. Solo Hill. Milwaukee. Official video. April 12th, 2021. Come on. Come on. Come on. Milwaukee. Why do you think white people fled? Okay? Why do you think they left? Why do you think the neighborhood lost, you know, the honest earned money? Come on. Let's be real about this. Okay, and I get it. If you're a Republican voter, you are now cheesed off. You were promised that there would never be any accountability for your support or party of open textbook racism. That is the media. That is politics. Donald Trump, I don't know that Donald Trump ever actually said anything racist. I mean, that's the crazy part about this. Just because the guy is a Freemason, an occultist, an international banking puppet, that doesn't mean you can just label him racist. I mean, he hates all the little people. He hates all the workers. He literally does hate all the workers. He can't stand people that don't have his lifestyle, basically. That's my assertion about Donald Trump, because I believe that he's just basically an actor. And he's carrying out a generational plan to dominate the world. And he played his part perfectly. Sorry, but for the betterment for all Americans, you included, we've decided to end that rule, and I really don't care what your race is or how many friends happen to be, whatever. None of that excuses you. Wow. If you're a part of a party that does not change, it does everything it can to make it hard for black people to vote, gerrymanders the value of minority votes down into a small fraction of the value of white votes in state houses and in the U.S. House of Representatives, and are willing to vote for candidates to the party that nominated a man for president who explained why he was launching his campaign by saying Mexicans are rapists and murderers. The racist label. Okay, so now he's pivoting to saying that Donald Trump said Mexicans are rapists and murderers. Okay, so let's just look this up. Let's be fair, okay? So, Donald Trump border Mexicans. And obviously it would be Mexicans at the border, in addition to supposed Muslim extremist terrorists, but, I mean, yeah, we're not going to debate that.
Say one thing about Donald Trump, he sure has people talking. Trump is enraging many people with his remarks about Mexican immigrants.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
How can you succeed?
Wow. So, I mean, did you catch the whole statement there? Like, I don't need to listen to them, these talking heads fucking spin their fucking spinster wheel. Listen to what he said.
Say one thing about Donald Trump, he sure has people talking. Trump is enraging many people with his remarks about Mexican immigrants.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
How can you...
Oh, and some are good people, yeah. Yeah, sure, some are good people, and they're being trafficked. So if we go, Mexico, sex trafficking border, right? If we think a little bit about this shit.
We turn now to Sarah Carter. She joins us with her exclusive and shocking report about the rise of sex trafficking over the border. Sarah, everything I've learned from people I've interviewed over the years, we're talking about teenage girls, in part, sold into prostitution even.
Sean, we're talking about children as young as 8 years old sold into prostitution. It's just horrific. Think about this. Across the globe, more than 25 million people are subjected to human trafficking and slavery, Sean. In the United States, it's tens of thousands. When you think about the number of people...
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Tens of thousands? Tens of thousands? Tens of thousands. In a population of 300 million people, you're gonna fucking tell me that it's only tens of thousands? I'm telling you right now, it's hundreds of thousands. It's not tens of thousands. It's hundreds of thousands. It's hundreds of thousands in total across the United States, between the foster care system and the occult participants that drag their children into the occult and basically use them as leverage to gain status in the cult. It's hundreds of thousands of children. It's not just the Mexican girls and boys, it's hundreds of thousands of children. In a population of 300 million, you really are thinking that it isn't hundreds of thousands of children that are being sex trafficked? It's hundreds of thousands.
Coming across the border and flooding into our cities, those that we don't even know, even those that have been after.
I mean, it might be tens of thousands annually coming up from Mexico as fresh meat, right? But it's hundreds of thousands of children being sex trafficked in America. Hundreds. People can disagree if they want. I'm telling you, this is a dead reckoning based on where America has gone. It's hundreds of thousands. Hundreds. Hundreds of thousands. And I really don't care what the official number is, because I know the official number is hiding shit. And that's what they do. That's what they fucking do. The choice is yours. We will be here rooting for you to choose love. All right, so let's break down this love thing. So wait. Before we do that, let's talk about how many minors are sex trafficked in America. Okay, so these are the 70 plus unimaginable human trafficking statistics in the U.S., right? Alright, so wait, okay. So, 40.3 million people are victims of trafficking worldwide. That includes sex trafficking, labor, all that shit. There are 5.4 victims of modern slavery for every 1,000 people in the world. Women and girls account for 71% of all human trafficking victims. Okay, and they obviously are citing sources here, which seems to be one of two websites. 9% of human trafficking victims are men and boys. Right. That's not possible. Women and girls account for 71%, so then it would have to be 29% of human trafficking victims are men and boys. 1 in 4. See, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, so obviously these numbers, there's already a conflict here, but you get my point. If it's 71%, then it's 29% are men and boys. All right, so 1 in 4 victims of modern slavery are children, which I can understand. 30.2 million, or 75% of human trafficking victims, are 18 or older. Wow. That is crazy. 25%, or 10.1 million people of human trafficking victims are under the age of 18. 14% of victims of forced labor moved either internally or internationally. The rest do not relocate when trafficked. $15.4 million victims of human trafficking involve forced marriage, which is incels who are part of extremist groups, typically, are basically taking on members of the concubine. There are 5.4 victims of modern slavery for every 1,000 people in the world. Okay, they repeated the same statistic. That's interesting. So per 100,000 people, they're showing you a breakdown of the top 10 states that have the most trafficked individuals. So they break this down a little bit more per state and give you some additional information. I'm not gonna dive into that. You can go into that if you wish for yourself. This has kind of devolved into going into a whole bunch of areas that are very controversial, which I don't doubt for a second. But it is controversial. But as you can see here, I mean, it's just, look, it's just ridiculous. This fucking Penzey Spices guy is a fucking idiot. He's just dumb. He's a corrupt business guy that's pandering and grifting an audience. China, Mexico, and fucking India. Like, come on, man. Appealing to the melanin skinned people of the world. There's not even anything black in here either. China cinnamon, Mexican oregano, and curry. Like, come on. He doesn't even offer black people something that they would want, like MSG, you know, monosodium glutamate. It's just ridiculous. just ridiculous. All right, well, I said my piece on this. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. If you have something else to add that I didn't cover, feel free to drop that in the comments as well. Let's do about. Feel free to drop that in the comments as well. Let's do about. Feel free to drop that in the comments as well. Let's do